Welcome to Scout Power. Longhouse Council proudly serves the scouting community of Central and Northern New York. Thousands of adult volunteers, our professional staff, and the generosity of our donors continue to deliver an outstanding program of leadership, character development, adventure, and fun. Last year did not turn out to be the year that any of us expected. While schools, business, entertainment, and nearly every activity was canceled or restricted, Scouting found a way to continue to serve our youth. We are elated to have you back in person for Scout Power this year. This very week, we have 3 summer and day camp opportunities bustling with activities for our youth. It is so good to have our camps alive with adventure and laughter once again. Scouting is now open to all youth, and our mission is to provide a dynamic scouting experience to every child or young adult that wants one. This year, we welcomed our first class of female Eagle Scouts in BSA history. Thanks to your generous support, we are honored to have some of those Eagle Scouts with us here tonight. On behalf of the thousands of Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Venturers, Sea Scouts, and Explorers, thank you for your support. Longhouse Council, Boy Scouts of America, is proud to recognize Nathan Andrews as our 2021 Scout Power Distinguished Citizen honoree. Himself an Eagle Scout and past president of Longhouse Council, Nate is a recognized leader in the upstate New York community. As the third-generation family owner of Morse Manufacturing, Nate's legacy of business leadership is well established. Nate is very active in business, community, and charitable efforts, and currently serves as chairman of MACNY, the Manufacturers Association of Central New York. Please enjoy this tribute to Nate Andrews by some of those who know him best.
So Nate and I met, we were introduced through a coworker, and we met on a blind date. First blind date, and we just hit it off, and things went well from there.
Well, I've known Nate for almost 20 years. I've known him throughout that whole time, obviously through Morse Manufacturing, but now more intimately because he's my board chair.
He honestly is no different today than he was when I first met him 40 plus years ago. Great guy, great energy, very charismatic, friendly.
So when Nate got involved, when he moved back to Syracuse, and actually he got involved with the Salvation Army of the Syracuse area through his dad, I was working at the Salvation Army at the time. And one day before a committee meeting, we were talking, I have a dinner club, and we were talking about dinner club. We were going to Boom Boom Mex Mex. And he had never heard of Boom Boom Mex Mex because he didn't grow up on the west side of the city. And he wanted to know all about it. So I looked at him and I said, listen, we're going to Boom Boom Mex Mex next week on Tuesday. Why don't you just join my dinner club? And the friendship began because he came and was dinner club, and we've hung out ever since.
He is just a super caring and compassionate individual. Just an all-around great guy, loves to be outdoors, loves to do family stuff. Just a really great guy.
He really looks out for everyone at work, and he's very family oriented. If you have anything you need to do for your family, he'll be the first to say, take off and take care of your family.
I would attribute Nate's success to the character of him as an individual, to his commitment and his dedication to whatever he engages in, and his hard work. And I'm sure if Nate were sitting here instead of me, there's probably been a little bit of good luck involved as well. But we're lucky to have Nate in our community. He's an outstanding scout and an outstanding citizen.
When my children were young and I enrolled them in Scouts, they needed a scout leader. And so I took on the position naively, but I did it because they needed it. And one of the first lessons or activities that we had to do was tying knots. I called Nate Andrews crying, saying, I need help. How do I tie knots? And Nate I could hear the phone smiling, paused, and happily volunteered to come to my house with my little scouts and teach them all to tie knots. It was something that I did not ask him to do. It was something that he didn't need to do, but he did it because he's Nate and he's genuine. and he knew that those kids would enjoy it. And it was by far the most productive and enjoyable part of my experience being a Scout leader, as well as my children.
I think tonight, to have his parents here to watch him get this award, I think it means the world to him. He had spoken to a friend who said, you know, I wish my dad was around to see all the stuff that I've been doing with the Boy Scouts, and you know, you should be really, really happy and really honored that your parents are here to see that, because that was one thing I wish that my dad could have seen. So I think with his parents here tonight, I think he is really happy and grateful that they're here to witness it.
He's a very, you know, generous person with his time. He's a great listener. He's somebody who's great to just kind of sit down and have a conversation and a cold beer with.
One of the fondest memories was Sundays after church. We used to go back to his parents' house and take off our church clothes and put on the jeans and t-shirts and just go out in the go-kart and tear around his backyard, get all muddy, and we'd have to be hosed off before we were allowed inside for lunch. So it was a great memory from our childhood and a lot of fun.
Well, Nate is one of the most accomplished individuals you'll meet for his age and for what he's been able to accomplish already. At the same time, he's one of the kindest people you'll ever know.
Nate is a father. He is fun. He is a fun dad. He's always wrestling around with the kids, playing, you know, taking them on hikes. He does a bunch of stuff that I am just, as a mom, too nervous to do. You know, he takes them to Clark's Reservation and they walk on the rock trail, and he's letting them walk ahead, and I'm like, oh, hold their hands so they don't fall in the cracks, you know, but he's like, ah, they're fine, let them go. And he's a really great dad and just really caring with everything that he does.
I don't know if many people know that Nate is a huge U2 fan. 10 years ago, U2 was touring, and my husband and I are huge U2 fans. We follow them around, and we had just seen them in Montreal, and 3 days later we were going to Philly to see them, and we had 2 extra tickets. So I said, Nate, do you want to come? And he said, sure, I'll take the 2 tickets. And at that time, he didn't know who his second was going to be. Lo and behold, it was Jill. Very exciting, the first time we met her, and they came down to Philly, and we had a whole event with about 30 other people in Philly from Syracuse, and then went to the show. And he is a huge fan, and we're waiting for the next tour so we can all go back to the next concert.
So if I'm not mistaken, the Scouts motto is be prepared. So one of the things that I found funny is on one of our hiking trips, we wound up going, you know, we've gone into, I think we were trying to hike Haystack, Saddleback, and Basin, and do a loop. So we were in there at the Johnsbrook Lodge, you know, scheduled to stay overnight. And we start off on this hike, and his shoes start to fall apart. And the whole thing, the Scout motto is be prepared. Well, I joke sometimes at the fact that, hey, that he didn't have an extra pair of hiking boots with him, because the soles of his boots actually came off, and no amount of duct tape or glue was going to keep those on. So we spent those next 2 nights just hanging around the lodge.
When it comes to the Scout law, I think Nate best exemplifies trustworthiness. If Nate tells you something, you can take it to the bank. His character is beyond reproach, and he's just an outstanding individual.
He's friendly. He outreaches in the community quite a bit, and always with a smile on his face no matter what he's doing.
I'll say that Nate is obedient because he listens to me.
For me, the one that stands out the most is kind. He is a genuinely kind person, and he demonstrates that in all elements of his life.
I don't think that I can pick just one. Nate exemplifies all of them, and I think that he is just a total package and just a really great guy.